Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. So this is really exciting. I am filming the first of my 2020 goals videos, which seems so weird to say. As I'm filming it's like barely December, but I want to get these up in December. I feel like everyone else does their end of year wrap up stuff in December and then their goals in January, which makes sense apart from the fact that I've not finished reading all the books I'm going to read yet for the year, so I'm going to wrap up everything in January and do my goals in December. That's just how I'm doing it. But yeah, so one of my main goals this year is I'm going to pick 5 books from the genres that I like, and I'm going to try to read those 5 books by the end of the year. So that's 5 books per genre. This one will be the thrillers and the young adult thrillers edition. I'm not sure how many videos of these there will be. I think there'll be around 4, maybe less, depending on how much I talk about the books, but yeah. So this is thrillers and young adult thrillers, so I'm going to talk about the 5 thrillers that I want to read first, and then the 5 young adult thrillers. For the thrillers, you've probably heard me talk about them before. The criteria for being on this list is basically it wasn't published last year, it was published before last year, and it's a thriller that I really want to read and I've not gotten around to yet, and that is literally the only criteria. So I've narrowed it down to 5 books per genre and I'm going to start going through them. So the first thriller I want to read in 2020 is In a Cottage in a Wood by Cass Green. I've been talking about this book for ages, saying I'm going to read it, and I've not read it yet. This is a thriller about a woman who stops another woman, or tries to stop another one from committing suicide, but she ends up jumping. She then gets gifted a cottage in a wood from the woman who jumped, but when she moves into the cottage, all is not as it seems and thriller stuff starts happening. So many people have said that they love this thriller. I've heard nothing but good things. I think the premise sounds really intriguing and I've been putting it off forever, which is a common theme, particularly with the thrillers, you'll notice. But yeah, I have to get to it in 2020. The next thriller I want to read in 2020 is Painkiller by N.J. Fountain. Again, I've talked about this book before, but this is about a woman who is living with a chronic pain condition. And then one day she finds a suicide note written in her own handwriting that she does not remember writing. And she starts to question whether someone's messing with her, if someone's trying to kill her, all that kind of thriller stuff. It's got some unreliable narrator stuff, I believe. That kind of is the main pushing trend. Again, heard nothing but good things about this thriller from people who've read it. It sounds really cool, it's been on my radar for a long time, and I cannot wait to finally get to it in 2020. The third thriller on this list is 13 by Steve Cavanagh. Yeah, I've not read this yet. I know. Pretty much everyone I watch and love on BookTube has read this book and told me how good it is, and I really need to read this. This is about a famous celebrity couple, and one of them is accused of murdering the other, but it says right there on the cover the killer isn't on trial, he's on the jury. So the killer is actually on the jury for this murder. That's pretty much all I know about it. I didn't even know that it was about celebrities, to be honest, but I've just heard everyone talk about this book, probably for good reason. I don't usually like police procedurals, and I think this has got kind of like a detective main character, but honestly it's had such glowing reviews and I cannot wait to see what all the fuss is about. The next thriller on this list is The Girlfriend by Michelle Francis. This sounds so good. This is about a wealthy woman who has a son. He's 23, and then one day the son brings home his girlfriend, and she's like this wide-eyed, innocent person, except the mother thinks that she's not, and it's basically about the dynamics between the mother and her son's girlfriend. I love books that focus on female dynamics. I think this sounds really cool. I've heard nothing but great things about this. This was really a popular thriller a while back, and I think as well my mum really enjoyed it, so it's been one, like all of them on this list, that I've been meaning to get through and I've not dedicated the time to it, so I'm going to do that now. And the final adult thriller on this list is Her Name Was Rose by Allan. This is about a woman who watches another woman get hit by a car and then decides to try to steal her life because she's got everything that our main character's ever wanted. But it's a thriller, so things are probably going to go awry. yeah, again, this has been on my radar for so long. Cannot wait to read it. It's got that beautiful cover that catches my eye every single time I see it. And I've heard good things about all of Claire Allan's books, really, and I haven't read any of them yet. So yeah, so those are the 5 adult thrillers that I want to read in 2020, and now I'm going to do the young adult ones. So the first young adult thriller I want to read in 2020 is A Monster by CJ Skuse. I've not read anything by CJ Skuse yet. I've got an arc of her book, The Alibi Girl, and I also am going to read Sweet Pea soon. But Monsters is one of the young adult thrillers. This is about a group of teenagers who get snowed in. I think they all attend like a boarding school and they get snowed in. And they basically start kind of Lord of the Fliesing each other, which sounds amazing. Yeah, I've owned this book for ages. I've got a physical copy and I still haven't read it. And I really, really like the cover. It looks really creepy, wintry. I'll try to get to this at the start of the year, but if not, I'll probably leave it till the end of the year just because it's so wintry and it sounds really good. The second young adult thriller I want to read in 2020 is This Is Our Story by Ashley Elston. So this is about a group of boys who went hunting together, and there was 5 of them, and then one of them got shot. So the 4 surviving people come back and refuse to say who shot their friend or why, and they're all kind of wealthy people, so it's trying to be swept under the rug. Our main character is a reporter and she does not want that to happen at all. So yeah, I love I say I love them. Young adult thrillers tend to be kind of bad, if I'm brutally honest. And a lot kind of have a similar premise to this that haven't lived up to it. But the cover immediately caught my eye, and I'm really, really hoping that this is as good as it sounds, because I'd love to see this story done well. The next young adult thriller on this list is All These Beautiful Strangers by Elizabeth Klehfoth. This is about a 17-year-old girl called Charlie, and when she was a child, her mother died under mysterious circumstances. And now she's a teenager and she's attending this school, and she's part of kind of this prestigious group. And then there's like a secret group where she has to play some sort of game to be able to join them, and it's like a dark game, and that's all I really know about it. I heard quite a lot of hype about this book. I think it was either this summer or last summer. It's got an absolutely gorgeous cover. If you ever see the physical copy as well, it's got like rainbow sprayed pages and it's beautiful. But yeah, I really like stories about mean popular girls. I know a lot of people don't, but I really do, and particularly if there's some kind of rich girl mystery, so long as it's done well. And I love books about games as well, so this has got a lot of things going for it, and hopefully it'll be as good as I think it is going to be. Speaking of which, the next book on this list is The Basic 8 by Daniel Handler, also known as Lemony Snicket. If you don't know, it's the same guy. This is about a rich girl called Flannery, and she's been accused of murder, and I think she is also a murderess, like it's true, but this is basically her telling her story. I think this will be really entertaining. I think it'll be really kind of darkly comedic. It's a bit of an oddball. I can't remember where I first heard about this book, but it's been on my radar for a while and I thought it sounded quite intriguing, so I'm hoping this will be really enjoyable and right up my street. And the final young adult thriller that I want to read in 2020 is Mr. Tender's Girl by Carter Wilson. So this book I've not really heard any good reviews for, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be awful. Like, even for a young adult thriller, I think it's going to be awful. But yeah, I'm drawn to it. I had to pick the books that I was most drawn to, and this was one of them. So this is about a girl who was attacked as a teenager because her father did some graphic novels about this kind of Slender Man type character called Mr. Tender, and these 2 girls in her class tried to kill her because they thought they were sacrificing her to Mr. Tender. And then it's years later, and I think she starts getting tormented by someone again. Something happens like that. Yeah. Again, I've not heard any good things about this, but that's not going to put me off, because I'm particularly with young adult thrillers. Right, I keep saying that I think they're bad. I don't think they're bad. I think they never live up to the as good as they sound. Like, I'm always really grabbed by a young adult thriller premise, and then when I read it, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. and this is probably going to be the case with this book, but also I've really liked some young adult thrillers that other people have hated, so I keep reading them just in case this is one of those scenarios. But yeah, so those are the 5 thrillers and 5 young adult thrillers that I want to read in 2020. Like I said, I'm going to do this for other genres. Let me know if you've read any of these. I know some of you have definitely read almost all of the thriller ones, if not all of the thriller ones. But the young adult thrillers might be a bit more off the wall, some of them. But yeah, let me know what you thought of them if you have read them. And also let me know what your predictions are for what other books might be on my list. So I'll tell you the genres I'm doing. I'm doing horror, I'm doing sci-fi, I'm doing fantasy, I'm doing anthology, and I'm doing contemporary. It's like young adult contemporary specifically. So yeah, let me know if you've got any predictions for what you think might show up, because I'm really intrigued if any of you will be right. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, it helps me out massively. And I hope to see you next time.